I know you talked a little bit about like working with Jamie. I was so like fascinated working with him. It's like you said in the Scoops Ahoy podcast. He was so nice and like just kind of
Right.
grounded. He has this like posh British accent. And then when camera's rolling, he's like there. All of the lineup scenes, even when he wasn't on camera, he was giving me death eyes. It's always so cool when you work with an actor that is willing to give you
Yeah.
everything that you need. And that was the other cool part about like Matthew. He was just a genius of being a scene partner. So all of that to say, what were some of the ways that he was able to help you get, because I think I commented this somewhere, but I was so impressed with the way that you handled that like grave scene where, because
Yeah.
that kind of fear is always the toughest for me to play.
A lot of it is just allowing your body to believe what is happening. I got closed up in a box that I couldn't climb out of, and then I had someone who looked like a terrifying monster walk toward me. And I mean, Jamie is just so giving that every take he would give me everything that I needed, but
Mhm.
there's a definite aspect of just once you're in the situation, it's easy to commit to it because you're there. I think 90% of the time you get all your energy from whoever's working opposite you giving you that energy, and the way to make a good scene is to just fuel each other. And so I really just connected to him and allowed him to give me what he was giving me, and it's not a huge push. All he really needed to give me was, I want to devour you. That's easy to push yourself against a wall and keep trying to move backwards when you can't. I feel like we have slightly different experiences in this, because you in the collar scene, I mean, you have like 10 other characters with you doing a long form scene, and then you have to be vulnerable. I had like a full day where I had multiple days where it's like, okay, we're doing Logan's death. So I had like a lot of support just in making sure that I was good and really protected in that kind of aspect, because I was the only one that anyone had to focus on.
All of the other actors with me were under 18, so they had to get them wrapped ASAP. We would basically have to film all of the kids coverage before going to me on pretty much everything, which was beneficial in some ways because it allowed me to ramp into it and build into it, but it also made like stamina something that was super important. It was episode 2, I think, where it seems like you just had just dread after dread after dread. I'm sure that was so emotionally taxing. What ways were you able to keep your like emotional mental stamina for that kind of stuff?
A lot of it for me was just about the fun of it. Yeah, you're acting in a really dreadful way, but like they'd call cut and I'd be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing, it's the kind of acting I love, right? I'm running, I'm yelling, I'm jumping, like anything physical, anything that I can do with my body, it's automatically going to put me in the right place. Everything had to do with my body. Everything was running or climbing or struggling or something. I didn't necessarily have the vulnerability of like sitting there and having to be vulnerable. I was very much able to propel myself using physicality, and then just find the excitement in the fact that like the mourners are terrifying, and that's so cool. This is all makeup and it looks so scary, and I know that, and I can commit to it. But then when we're outside, I'm such a film nerd that I'm just like, this is just fun.
It's so cool hearing you say that because me and you's characters are like completely different. And yet a lot of like what you're talking about, I experienced at the same time. Like I would try to find root in like the physicality. Film geek in me seeing all the special effects they were doing, putting me
Yeah.
up on wires, and I never had to go like 10, 20, 30 feet in the air. So I don't know how you did that. That's just crazy to me.